Leia Healthcare, looking after you always. Proud sponsors of Real Health with Karl Henry.
Welcome to Real Health with me, Karl Henry, in association with Leia Healthcare. Folks, the summer is finally drawing to a close. For some of you, that might be a good thing, and for some, not so good. But the reality is, come September, we are back into a routine and structure and normality. And if you're like me and crave routine and structure and normality, you'll be very, very happy indeed. Today's episode is all about a top tips to reset, to get back on track. This year has been an incredibly busy summer for people. I've seen it with my own clients. I've seen it with work. People have been traveling a huge amount. Their routines are all out of sync. From a health perspective, it's been incredibly challenging to stay healthy, to stay well, to stay on top of your goals and your targets with all of that chaos going on over the course of the summer. And it's generally around now when my email inbox begins to light up with requests for PT and all of the other work that we do, because people are looking for help to get back on track, to reset and to get healthy and set some new targets and some new goals. So we thought here at Real Health, we would give you an episode to help you do exactly that. Get your pen, get some paper, and we're going to get cracking with 10 really, really simple tips, but they work. And anytime we do one of these episodes, it's content that I've seen work over the course of my career of 22 years. It's not rocket science, but health doesn't have to be. More often than not, it's taking some time out. It's listening to something like this. It's putting some time into writing these things down and then applying all of the things that you've written down to help you get back on track. Before we do that, the first thing I want to say is there's nothing to feel guilty about or to feel bad about. More often than not, women especially do this, where they reflect on the summer that's been and then think, oh, I can't believe I didn't exercise as much as I wanted to, or I can't believe I've put on a little bit of weight, or I can't believe whatever. Life is for living. Particularly this summer, we had free reign and a free pass to travel absolutely anywhere. We absolutely did that. That is not a bad thing. So no matter what happened, no matter what way your summer went, no matter what way you're feeling listening into today's episode, it's okay. It's all right. I want to be that reassuring voice in your head that says, that sounds a little bit spooky, but that reassuring voice in your head that says, you know what, it's okay that you partied loads this summer, but let's draw a line in the sand. And that's tip number one. It's starting with just draw a line in the sand. Whatever's gone before, whatever happened over the last couple of months, don't worry about it, because it's in the past and you can't fix it. You can't do anything about it. You can dwell on it and it can make you upset, or you can be kind of angry about the fact of what you did and what you didn't do. But the reality is it's in the past and there's nothing you can do about that. So by drawing a line in the sand and accepting it and saying, you know what, I had fun, I enjoyed it. This is a new chapter. This is a new page. September is going to be my month to get back on track. It's my month to get my health and wellness goals where they need to be. And I'm going to do exactly that. There's empowerment in that, in just accepting the fact that what's behind me, I can't do anything about. What's in front of me, well, that's a different thing altogether. And that's exactly what we're going to change. So let's start with that. Look to September. Let's focus on those 4 weeks. Nothing else. Forget about the really bigger stuff and the longer stuff. Just focus on getting through September and using that as your goal, using that as your structure, your time frame. What you're going to hang all of these goals off is the fact that you want to get through September as healthy and as well as you possibly can, because that's all you need to focus on. Sometimes by setting big goals and really big targets, that might be 6 months, they might be more, it becomes daunting, it becomes scary, it becomes too far away. So let's focus on 4 weeks. Line in the sand for what's happened in the summer, and over the next 4 weeks, that's what you want to focus on, and that's what we're going to work towards. That sound okay? Good, you're there with me already. The second tip is about analysing then. So you know yourself better than anybody else, and you'll have seen and listened to in the previous episodes over the last couple of weeks, like with David Nolan, that knowing yourself and knowing your body is really, really important. So I'm going to take that one step further. I'm going to say, know your life. So get your diary out, get your schedule out. Put the work component in, put the social component in, put the family component in, and have a look at what's left. Because the what's left is where you're going to fill with exercise. You're going to fill with eating healthier and maybe prepping some food. You're going to fill it with stuff, healthy things to do. The key thing is that when you don't do that, you overload. And you overload your diary, you overload your schedule, and it becomes overwhelming. You're setting yourself up to fail. So take out that pen and paper after today's episode and put in everything. Put in all the stuff. Because by doing that, you can say, okay, well, I have, 3 days a week I can exercise, or 5 days a week I can exercise, or whatever. And that's the amount of exercise that you're going to do. One that fits into your diary. Analyze work, analyze travel, and just map it all out for the next 4 weeks. And by doing that, you've got control over it. You can look at your diary, look at your schedule, and schedule in what you're going to do and when. I do this every Sunday. So, for example, today, I knew I wasn't going to get to exercise today. I now live in West Cork. I came up from West Cork this morning. I knew today wasn't going to be an exercise day. So I got my run done yesterday. I got my run done tomorrow. I've got lots of general daily movement done today, which is my walking and all the rest of it. My actual exercise won't happen. And I can schedule that because I knew that I was going to be here. So that empowerment, that ownership, you're not making excuses, you're owning it. You're creating knowledge around your schedule and what it's going to look like, and you're building your exercise routine and your goals all around that. To create those goals, well, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to ask you a very simple question, and that is what's your why? Why do you want to make these changes? Why do you want to get healthier? Why do you want to improve your fitness? Why do you want to lose weight? That why needs to be stronger than all the excuses that may get in the way. If it's not stronger, guess what? You'll fall off the wagon very, very quickly. If it is stronger, well then chances are you're going to succeed. It's why you see so many people running marathons and doing races in honor of somebody. That why, that reason. I'm running this in honor of someone who, was very special in my life. So when things get tough, the why is strong enough to overcome the idea of not finishing the event or not finishing the race. Big charity cycles, big charity events they're all like that. That's because the why is really strong. So what is your why? What do you want to change? What happened over the course of the summer that you didn't like? Or how do you feel now listening into today's episode that you want to change? And why do you want to change it? So for the goal setting, it's creating your why. Why do I want to do it? Then it's creating what you want to do. So you want to lose a stone in weight. Fantastic. Or you want to run a marathon. Not going to happen in 4 weeks in September, but we can make that happen too. But the what then is important. So you know why you want to do it, then you know what you want to do. Then it's how are you going to do it. You've already started that by looking at your diary, looking at your schedule, and then you're going to plant the exercise into those gaps where it works for you. And that's really, really important. That goal setting little structure is one of the simplest ways to keep yourself on track. It's reviewing, it's looking at your why, your what, and then your how. And then that over the correct time frame works really, really, really well. Tip number 3 is one that if you listen to this show, you'll know I'm all about because it is the most important tip I can give you for long-term health and wellness, lifelong health and wellness, and that is measurement. By measuring something about your health, you're automatically healthier. Weight awareness, for example, being aware of your weight, even if you don't want to lose weight, just being aware of it will stop you from gaining weight. Not knowing anything about your health, well then doesn't really deliver long-term health benefits because you're not tracking anything. You'll naturally gain weight. You'll naturally increase your waistline because you're not tracking it. We do need to track elements of our health. Ideally, we're looking at muscle, we're looking at fat, we're looking at weight, but muscle and fat are the two really, really important ones. Reducing your body fat is important too. How can you measure? You can measure how long it takes you to walk to the office, how long it takes you to walk to the shops. I measured how long it took me to walk here from Houston Station today. Measuring stuff, it gives you things to benchmark against. If it is weight, a smart scales measures your muscle, your fat, your hydration, and lots more. Simple. Once a week, same time, same day, you track some form of health stat. But it's that measurement each week, once a week, that gives you a sense of progression, a sense of maybe regression, something that you need to change in the following week to improve. But unless you measure it, you will never know. And all of those groups out there who say you shouldn't know your weight, absolutely you should. For the small percentile of people who maybe suffer with weight-related issues or eating disorders or things like that, that's different. General population is who we talk to on the show here. And for the general population, you need to know your health measurements. Don't run from it. No matter what the number is, it doesn't matter. By being aware of it, you are healthier. And that's the most important thing to remember. Next up, in terms of resetting, it's your movement. So often after September or after the summer, people try to pick things just because. They saw someone else do it on Instagram, which is generally fake, let's be honest. They saw a poster, they saw an advertisement for rapid results in 30 days or rapid whatever. We all know they don't work. The reality is that for movement, you do something that you enjoy. Make it fun, make it energetic, make it put a smile in your face. Stop trying to do movement that you don't like. There's two types of movement. One is general daily movement. So I walk from the train station to here. Medium intensity, I walk pretty fast, but it's not exercise, it's just movement. Then there's exercise where it's more intense. So I'm out of breath, I'll go for a run tomorrow, I'll be out of breath. That's exercise. It's challenging my body to work a little bit harder and to be fitter. And that's the difference between the two. Find movement you enjoy, whatever that movement is. Ideally, I am going to say to do some resistance exercise, lift some weights, because it's just something we don't do enough of. We age quicker, we're more unhealthier because we don't do any weight-bearing movement. Try to do some. But the key thing for today's episode about reset is find movement that you enjoy. It's absolutely crucial. You are listening to Real Health with me, Karl Henry, in association with Leia Healthcare. Don't forget, folks, by the way, to follow, rate and review if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a review, give us a like, and give us a follow. It really does mean a huge amount. Next tip, we're going to have a look at food. It's part of any reset. Getting back into a rhythm, into a routine. Chances are over the summer there's been lunches and dinners and food just everywhere because your routine is skewered. Back into that normal rhythm means breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Ideally eating your food within a 12-hour time frame, thereabouts. It's a simple structure. Eating every 3 hours, keeping your blood sugars lovely and stable. The quality of the foods that you eat. So foods that have short shelf lives. Food you have to cook or prep yourself. Food that's full of colour. And then lots of lean protein on your plate. Just picture every plate that you look for, or that you look at. It should be a quarter protein, a quarter carbohydrate, and half salad or veg. Every plate that you eat, that's how it should look. And it's a really simple way to portion off your plate. The other tip around food is the fact that there's no good food or bad food, there's just food. It's moderation and excess that creates the issues in terms of calorie imbalances. So by having too much of anything is a problem. Having a takeaway once 5 times a week, that's a problem. Having a takeaway once every 2 weeks, absolutely. Having alcohol once a week, perfectly fine. Having a whole day of alcohol once a week, excess, not so much. So that balanced approach is really important when it comes to food. Eat healthily, eat real food. Don't crash diet, don't liquid diet, don't do any diet, just eat, but eat healthier. Plan and prep is important in terms of your one big food shop, getting all the food in, stocking wherever you spend time with the food that you want to eat. Simple, nothing rocket sciencey. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner. And again, look at your plates, quarter protein, quarter carbohydrates, and half salad or vegetable. Makes it really, really simple because health shouldn't be this difficult. I have no greater food recommendations than that, bar the fact that it's balanced and that there is no good food or bad food. There is just food. So, it's important to say. Tip number 6 is a funny one. It's have fun. Because more often than not, when you try to reset, it's somber, it's serious, it's restrictive, it's hard, it's really difficult, and it's going to be so hard, but I'm going to reset. And guess what? After 3 weeks, you've fallen off the wagon because it is just too hard. We have to live. We have to have fun in our lives. And when it comes to resetting, that should not be cut out. That should be just part of how we live. So whatever health goals you're putting together, look at your food, look at your movement. Have some fun in there. Because that serious approach for most people, 90% of the population, will not work. The small percentile might thrive on it and they may have a super low body fat, but they're miserable because they're restricting everything about their lives. And the fun component is important. It can be social in terms of catching up with friends. It can be doing stuff that you really enjoy. It can be taking on a new challenge like the guitar or the piano or an instrument or something like that. But just something that puts a smile on your face, and make sure that's part of your reset, because it's about doing something that you enjoy and ensuring that it's just a little bit of crack. Because being serious and being very kind of somber about your reset and your health goals, we know in the long term they don't work. Yet people time and time again return to them because it's just what you do. So in this episode, we want to change that. We want to tell you how to do it differently. And we want to tell you how to empower yourself to reset properly. And there is fun within that. Tip number 7 is about the time frame and the review of what you're doing. So we've set a time frame of September, those 4 weeks. We're trying to be healthy for 4 weeks. That's the goal. That's the time frame. And 4 weeks sounds okay, because we know people can generally do it for 4 to 6, and then from 6 to 8 they fall off the wagon. So 4 weeks is a lovely, achievable time frame to be able to reset and be healthy. 4 weeks is a lovely time frame for creating a habit and changing a habit. And that's again what we're trying to do over the course of this month of September. You have your goals that you've set up. You will do after the podcast. Look at your why, your what, and your how, and then we're going to review them. Now, depends on the person. You can review those once a week if you want to. If you like the idea of reviewing them that closely, great. You can review it every 4 weeks, whatever suits you. But it's matching your personality. Do you need to sit down and review what has worked and what hasn't worked, and then map it out for the following week? Well, if you do, absolutely go for it. Is the time that you take to do that review that's important, because most people don't. They do all the other stuff but don't really assess how they're getting on. The reviewing is really, really, really important. Next tip up is about not cutting anything out. So that 80-20 approach of being healthy most of the time and having the odd treat. So that's how I live. That's how my clients live. That's called wellness. So whether that is, for me, it might be a bottle of cider, organic cider once a week or whatever. I enjoy it. I savor it. It tastes nice, and it's kind of, it's nice. That's balance. That's 80-20, and that's how I generally live. Or I might have a pizza or whatever, because that's enjoyable, and it's communal, and it's fun. So ensure you're not cutting anything out. Don't do the no takeaways, no alcohol, no chocolate, no whatever diet, because it just doesn't work. Ensure that whatever your thing is, whatever your treat thing is, if you can call it a treat food or a fun food or whatever, keep it in. No one says you have to give up chocolate forever, because you're never going to. So if you like chocolate, have a little bit and enjoy it, savor it, taste it, because it's something that we don't do enough. And that brings me on to the next tip, which is that for September, I want you to just enjoy your meal times a little bit more. Just chew your food. 30 seconds. Orla Walsh said it about 4 years ago in the podcast, and I've come back to it lots of times ever since. 30 seconds is the time frame you should be chewing each mouthful of food for. So for the next week, I want you to do that. Get your clock out and time yourself at dinner for 30 seconds with each mouthful, and just watch what happens. You chew your food more, you improve your digestion, you've got less bloating and gas issues. Your digestive process is generally that little bit quicker, which is good. You fill up quicker, you're fuller faster, and you actually begin to taste the food. So it's a simple switch that will make a big, big difference just to how you eat. But that mindful eating is absolutely crucial. To summarize, for today's episode, it's important because it's around now that the crash diets kick back in. September is like the new January. And here at Real Health, we are passionate about your health and your wellness as our listener, because real health and wellness takes time. It takes a little bit of time to get the results. It takes a little bit of time to assess and plan and analyze where you're at and where you want to go. But by doing that and taking that time, you can be healthier for the long run and healthier for the long term. We're going to focus on 4 weeks. September is going to be your month to reset. Off the back of today's episode, go through those tips, analyze things, plan it in, set your goals, measure something about your health over the course of the next few days, and plan in your movement, plan in your food, get your food shop done. And also, I suppose finally, surround yourself with voices that improve your health, and social media that improves your health. That takes away from it. Because we surround ourselves with so much subconsciously of those we hang around with and those that we follow, that just make sure they're positive, that they're qualified sources, but more importantly, if they're positive, they make you feel better as opposed to making you feel worse. Because September is going to be your month to reset, your month to get healthy, and your month to get well. And we're here with you every single Thursday along the way with new content and a new episode to keep you motivated and keep you focused. And by the way, we're going to let you in on a little bit secret on today's episode. The National Ploughing Championships are back this year, and we are going to be live in the Irish Independent tent at the National Ploughing Championships, and we will tell you more over the coming weeks of who we're going to talk to and where we're going to be. But we're going to reveal that now that we will be on site, and we were going to do a live podcast recording from the Ploughing Championships, and we can't wait to get back out to see people again and to get in person. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. Myself, Gav and Tabitha will be down there, and we look forward to meeting you all at the Irish Independent tent at the National Ploughing Championships. Folks, that's it for another episode of Real Health with me, Karl Henry, in association with Leia Healthcare. You know where we are, realhealthindependent.ie, at Karl Henry PT on Instagram. And if you have any questions, do let us know. We'll see you next week for more Real Health. Slán go fóill.
Leia Healthcare, looking after you always. Proud sponsors of Real Health with Karl Henry.